Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to preview round 20 of the 2024 NRL SuperCoach season. So before I get stuck into my team, as usual, we'll look at the most popular trade-ins, trade-outs, as well as, I guess, captaincy options, and then, from there we'll assess what I'm doing this week. So first, with the most popular trade-ins, number one, Tom Trbojevic, and I think rightly so. Particularly given the news that Dylan Edwards is out for a few weeks. So, I think Tedesco and Edwards was going to be the most popular finishing combination. But now that Edwards is out, it brings an opportunity for someone like Trbojevic to come in and establish himself in a lot more of our teams. Nathan Cleary at number two. So obviously, if you wanted to get him in this week, you could. With a break-even of 189 though, if you're struggling for cash, I would suggest waiting at least 1 week. See how he goes against the Dolphins. Even if he was to get an 80 or so, his price will drop by about 50k. Probably still have a decent break-even. So particularly if you're playing head-to-head, you can just wait until he bottoms in price. Assuming that you're good to go for your finals. But if you are playing overall aggressively, you've got, Tedesco locked in at fullback, that sort of thing, and you've got the money, obviously, is the other key point. Absolutely bring him in, he's a lock captaincy type option every week. So, yeah, bring him in. Tavita Pangai at number three. So an interesting one. Obviously, the dual position, cheapish price, the break-even's nice. But he's not going to score 90s every week. Particularly against Penrith, you think they'll have some sort of game plan to nullify, what he can do on the footy field. So, yeah, I guess if you need a player this week, you need to downgrade and a playing player, I can understand that logic, but if you're downgrading and looking for some dual position flexibility, you could just go straight to enough and get an extra 180k to spend on these big guns that we want for the run home. Excuse me. Number three, 4 and 5 rather. Matt Burton, Reed Marnie from the Bulldogs. So Berto obviously offers a bit of dual position flexibility at the cheap price. Whereas Reed Marnie, he's just been a defensive workhorse all year. So I do like the Reed Marnie trade. I'm a Matt Burton owner, but I think if I didn't own him, I wouldn't be desperate to get him in. It probably depends who you've got in your side. But we do know that he can go big on his day. So, yeah, I think if you wanted to bring Burton in, that's fine. I guess if you've got the money, I'd go for Cleary. Obviously, if you're looking for a cut price option, then, he's probably the best one this week. It may be worth holding off for a week and looking at like a Braden Trindle next week at a similar price point. Ruben Garrick at number 6, I think, yep, if you haven't got him, you can bring him in. He's always been a keeper type option, kicks goals, has the ability to ton up, as you can see there. So bring him in comfortably. Connor Watson, probably one I haven't looked at too closely, if I'm being completely honest, but the dual position is nice. His average suggests that he's doing the business, whether he's playing 9, 13, wherever he ends up on the field. So I guess if you're looking for a bit of a point of difference to Reed Marnie, then perhaps Connor Watson. Isaac Tungo, I think, at the price, he represents good value. He's dropped 300k, but with Nathan Cleary back, it can only mean good things for the Penrith attack. So I think, he might be, if you're looking again to downgrade, but you need a player this week, Tungo is a great pick. If you, are looking just to free up cash, you can go enough in the centre wing, though. Jaden Campbell's an interesting one. I feel like even though he's got that massive two massive scores. Um, I don't know. Surely it won't last forever. He's got one more week with this negative break even, and then he'll probably start leaking cash after that. So um, I guess if you are looking for cover for Edwards, say for example, and you can't afford Tedesco, um, and assuming you've got Turbo as your second fullback, then maybe Campbell could be a nice little point of difference. But yeah, not convinced by that trade. Jack Whiten's another one, sort of in that middling price range against the Tigers. Is why a few people are looking at him. The dual position's handy, but I can't really see him being, a centre wing keeper, and definitely not a 5/8 keeper. So for that reason, I'd avoid Jack Whiten. It's really guns and nuffs. I think at this time of year, you've had all season to build your bank up. Now's the time where we just want to get those guns in. James Tedesco at number 11, we'll just give a quick shout out to. If you don't have him, I think get him in, particularly with Edwards out. He's clearing away the number one fullback option. So on the trade out list, Api Coruscant, number one, so out injured. Not sure how long for, but yeah, I think you can afford to trade out of him. Fletcher Sharp, yeah, I think fiddling around with cheapish fullbacks is done. You need two guns in that position, so trade him out. Nico Hines, so out to about round 25, round 26. There you go. So I think, yep, chop him. Blaise Talangi, I think he's done his job for us, so you can absolutely trade out of him. Dylan Brown's an interesting one. So with the news that Mitchell Moses is out basically for the season with the bicep injury, he becomes the main man there after the Eels. Dual position's nice as well. I guess if you're upgrading him to Nathan Cleary, he's the one you've decided has got to go. Fair enough, but I mean, I think he still has value as particularly a gun 5/8 option. Ewan Aitken out for the season, so he has to go. Mitchell Moses out long term. I think the season has to go. Dylan Edwards, given us about 2 to 4 weeks, I think that's enough time to cut him. He can't afford to have 900k sitting on the bench for that long at this time of year. Kaylee Rowe, again, done his job for us. He can go. Lockie Galvin, he's done his bit for us. Made 350k. I think that says I can't read it. Claire's a bit awkward on my screen. 360, even better. So he can go. Latrell, round 23, I guess, probably has to go. Olaquatu can go. Marshall King. I think we can see the patterns there. So I'll just change the captaincy to the top 10%, the more serious players. So most popular captain this round is Ruben Garrick, interestingly enough, against the Gold Coast. I find that interesting. I guess maybe that would be referencing people who don't own Tom Trbojevic. And just looking at the ownership makes sense. 90% of the top 10 own Ruben Garrick, whereas only 33% of the top 10. So, that's almost still pod territory for Tom Trbojevic, although you'd imagine a lot of these guys will be running probably Tedesco and Edwards, I think. So maybe a lot of Edwards to Trbojevic this week will sort of decrease that. But obviously both great options against the Gold Coast at Four Pines. I believe it's on Sunday. Excuse me. So, always a good chance. Along those lines, Dave Fafita, playing afternoon footy. So the offload is on, the try and try assist is on. Particularly given they're a bit soft on the edges there, Manly with Olaquatu out. I think Lawton and probably Ben Trbojevic will be on the edge, but they'll have a tough time whichever side Fafita plays on. Tedesco, if you've got him, he's always in the conversation, albeit against Melbourne, who are a stronger defensive team. Jerome Hughes, the Roosters have been susceptible at times in defence, and Jerome Hughes has been good all season. Jaden Campbell, I guess if you've got him, again, similar to what we talked about with the top three, he's worth a punt. Nathan Cleary, obviously always in the conversation for captain. Jacob Kiraz is an interesting one in the final game of the week against the Cowboys. So, yeah, I guess if you've got a late-ish VC option you want to play, that could work out. Same with Scott Drinkwater, not popular in the top 10%, but those that have him are thinking about it. And Terrell May is an interesting one. Um, yeah, I guess with Lenu and that backing up, he might find some big minutes. Fanua Blake playing early in the round, so maybe more of a VC shout. In terms of VCs, so Cody Walker against South makes sense if you've got him in your team. The other guys we've discussed, Jermaine Asako, that's a big call against the Panthers. Kalama Matangi is another interesting one against the Tigers. Bit of a theme there with Damien Cook also featuring. And then Fanua Blake, Dom Young, I guess, is always a VC shout also for that high upside. So in terms of my team this week, so initially I talked about planning to go towards Dylan Edwards and Nathan Cleary, but with the news Edwards is out, I think I've just got to go with the crowd and get Tedesco in. So we'll do that move first, even though we don't have the money for it. So we've got to find 315k. And so in order to do that, we're going to sort of go with the move we looked at previously. So Lockie Galvin, bank his cash that he's made for us. And with a couple of dual positions like Max Plath and Josh Curran, we're just going to go all the way down to the bottom. And I said it probably doesn't matter between the two options that are dual position, front row, second row. But upon closer inspection, the Newcastle Knights have a lot of Sunday games, which means it's going to increase the possibility that we can, use Martin in our VC loophole. So Miles Martin is going to join the team on the bench as our first nuff for the season. So I'm going to confirm those. Reset the bench, and then we'll whack Harry Grant on there. Although I think Reed Barnes plays the last game, so we'll swap them. Angus can come on the field for Nikora. Katoa for Curran, again playing in the last game. Burton gets a start on account of the only halfback playing this week. So South play before the Dolphins, so that's the correct order there. And then we do have Kiraz and Garrick. And then Tedesco should be our fourth. Yeah. So we've got 17 this week, so we're sort of relying on everyone playing. Maybe the only question marks will be Angus Crichton backing up from Origin. Aside from that, I think everyone should be sweet. So that's fine. And then the VCNC, Sunday Arvo, 4 Pines, I think, happy to keep it on Tommy Turbo. The VC, talk about Souths. So we've got Gray or Gagai, and I think in the video, the round review, I did go with Gray. So we'll back him in. It's a bit of a pod move, but that's exactly, what we can afford to do with the VC. So there's the team, looking all right for this week. I guess the issue is we didn't leave ourselves a lot of money to get to Cleary next week, so we are hoping that he does dip a lot in value. We've definitely got enough money in our sort of centre wing that we can cash out. It's just going to be, I guess the other thing to consider is, who leaves out of here. Might be Plath because we might need the money. Although I think I'm happy to keep him as my second 5/8 alongside, having the swing open up. It's just how much is Jai Gray going to make, and particularly, I guess, if he does golf as our VC, and will make some money, will we want to cash him out? I think the answer is yes, but weekend's a long time in footy, so we'll see how it all falls in place. I guess maybe the other thing is just in case Payne Haas gets up, do we want to look at putting him in somewhere? I mean, it's pretty much a free swing, I think, given that whoever goes out. So Finu, for example, he would be the 17th or 18th man anyway. So maybe we'll set up like that, and then if Payne Haas doesn't play, we'll cop Finu's score, which is basically what we were going to do anyway. So yeah, so that's the classic team. I guess the draft team. I know I haven't given much attention to that of late. So let's have a look at the mess I've got here. So Marshall King out. Yeah, so he's not into late round. So we will have to go with Brayley, which isn't ideal. Max King's out for a few weeks too. But we do have Barnett, so got Travojevic is covered there. Get Barnett in. Nathan Cleary back's obviously massive for us. Put Burton in there. So we got K Weeks or Tamari Martin or Dream Bull. I've got too many fullbacks, I think, is half the issue here. So who do we want to get out of? Probably Buller. We definitely have to get out of Aitken. Although we should be able to cover this week. Skelton can probably go too. When's Max King back? Not sure. Marshall King's out. Fairway. So we do have a starting team this week. Oh, we actually don't because I was a yo. Do we have any? No. Alright. What do we need? So I'll just swap yo and Aiken. So I guess just for this week we'll go to the captaincy on Cleary. Now that he's back, we finally get to use that. And I guess we could go like a KO Weeks in the early game against the Warriors. Or maybe Tamari Martin. So whoever we decide on there as the flex. But given we've got that cover at fullback and 5/8, I think we can get rid of Dream Buller. Can definitely get rid of Skelton. And let's see what's on the free agency. Anyone on the waiver wire? Not Moses. Trantley Arrow, I suppose, would be an okay addition for this week. Morgan Smithies, we've sort of been burnt by him in the past. Leo Thompson, not exciting. Finny Furiaki starting. Is that just because Nene's probably... Is he rested or on the bench? Not sure. Aaron Clark, maybe. Lindsay Collins. Yeah, no. Backing up from Origin, maybe not. So we don't really need a centre wing, do we? I was thinking maybe the likes of a Jacob Gagai as a pod option this week if he's available. Might not even be available. Cheekham. Maybe he comes on the edge with Murray out. Or Talis Duncan might come in. Cheekham. Oh. This probably isn't the best viewing. I should have probably thought about this beforehand. um, actually, maybe if I sort it by the position might be more useful. And we'll go selected to play because we're not picking bench options, are we? So Jack Howarth's the end of the line there as far as second rowers are concerned. Maybe a Kurt Mann, with the middle forward crisis at the Dogs. Yep, let's get him in. And then any other areas we really need to target, maybe another hooker, because Brayley off the bench isn't ideal. There's not a lot on offer, is there? Not sure how long Coruscant's out. Maybe De Silva. Simpkin hasn't done a great deal. Carl Lawton maybe playing on that edge. Looks like he might be locked in for a couple of weeks with Olaquatu out. Maybe we'll go Carl Lawton. Covers second row as well, which could be handy. So let's put Kurt Mann in. Oh, could have traded out Aiken too, I suppose. Let's just go all positions and we'll just pick the best available. Free agent Jack Bostock, based on average and total points, probably is up there. Late Tow's an interesting option. I guess don't have a great deal of depth at centre wing. So let's go Late Tower, just for a laugh. Alright, so I guess that's how the draft team's going to line up this week. Looks like I'm in for a hiding from Mrs. Fitler, but that's okay. We'll see how we go. Hopefully Captain Cleary can do right by us. Actually, do I want to put Lawton in over Brayley? I think. Yep, and yep, that'll do. We'll see how we go. Cool. So we'll wrap the video up there. I'll quickly go back to the classic. But as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the SuperCoach content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. I did put out a video yesterday about, or the other day, don't remember when, about FPL starting up soon. I think it is open now, but I'll get to the video next week around that. Otherwise, let's catch you in the next one.